Hey, how's it going, folks? I'm on the black Tascam recorder today. I got the two black ones through the mail yesterday, so I'm set up now for three-person interviews. And I was going to go into Crofters this morning and catch an interview with Ilana and also do a little short film with her to put on the YouTube channel, you know, the introductory post. But it's the Arran show today. It's the agricultural show, the farmers show along at Glenkiln. So Ilana's going to that. Ilana's an equestrian person. She's a horse lover and she just got a degree in equestrian studies of some sort, and that's her passion. So I hope she has a great day. I'm going to catch her on Friday instead and hopefully sit in with the staff meeting. They usually have their weekly staff meeting on a Wednesday, but because of the show, Ilana's moved it to Friday. And Donald mentioned capturing some of that to go on YouTube or to go on the podcast. So I'll do that on Friday. Yesterday was good. I didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but isn't that always the way? I think I just have to accept that. I'm never going to get as much done as I want to. I did, however, manage to reach my target of posting another of Mike Bailey's music videos. Mike's a friend of mine and we've played together a lot over the years. He plays guitar and banjo, and he's a songwriter and a poet and a painter. One of the typical kind of people that you meet on Arran, actually, as I'm discovering after having gone round the Arran Open Studios. So Mike sat in Crofters a couple of weeks ago and recorded some of his own songs for John Boyd. Now, John has a podcast called By the Way, which you'll find at bytheway.scot. And he wanted to talk to Ilana and Donald for his podcast, and then he recorded Mike's playing some of his own songs, and I went in with my video. So I shot some video of Mike accompanied by Donald on fiddle and backing vocals, and I just published the second one from that 3-song recording last night. It's a song called Carry Me Back to Lochranza, and happily I was in Lochranza twice over the weekend. I'm not usually in Lochranza at all, so I managed to get some B-roll and cut that into the video, and it's something I need to get better at, but you know, I've started and I think it's come out pretty well, actually, I'm pleased to say. I know John has some really good audio from his stereo microphones that he was using, a stereo pair, and it may be that I swap out my audio with his at some point and republish. I don't know, it would make a better film, but I just wanted to get it up, and my audio was pretty decent. I had a nice message from someone on Facebook who was coincidentally looking for Mike's CD. Now, Mike recorded with Steph Homer. They used to play together as Mike and Steph, and he recorded an album, but I don't know if it's on CD. But this person had got in touch and was asking for the song called Call of Arran to play at her father's funeral, because it really meant a lot to her father, and coincidentally I had just published it on YouTube. So I wrote back and said, well, I don't know if there's a CD, but I did tag Mike in my response and sent a link to the video, and she watched the video of this person and said, wow, that's perfect. Meanwhile, Mike had got in touch with her, so not only is he able to provide her with the song, I think digital format, but he's also going to play the song live at the funeral in Whiting Bay. So how about that for a moment? That's a really nice thing for Mike to do. So there you go. It's been Mike's week, I think. I booked flights yesterday. Well, not flights, a flight from Derry in Ireland to Glasgow. So what am I going to be doing in Derry? Well, Crofters have come up with the initiative of the Crofters Cruise. So they've booked space on a brigantine sailing ship to go from Oban to Derry on the 21st of August. Sailing over, it's something like a 2-3 day crossing, and it's Crofters on a ship, so they're going to have some great food, some great Scottish drink and some great music. So I'm going along as the content maker and musician. Mike's also coming, which is awesome. At least I think he is. He's certainly invited. And it should be a great weekend. Donald will be there, Sue will be there, Donald's mum. She's another musician. Ocean, Ilana. It's going to be a bit of a family event for them, family and friends. And it's going to be awesome. So there are still 2 places left. If anybody would like to come and sail across from Oban to Derry and enjoy some great food and some great music, hopefully some great weather, but of course that's we're in Scotland, so be prepared. Then get in touch with Crofters, croftersmusicbar.com. The cost is £500 per person, and that includes your accommodation and your food on the ship. You have to make your own way to Oban and your own way back from Derry, but the flights are not expensive. I just booked mine for £80, and yeah, 2 spaces left. Book them up before they go. I'm wondering about how to carry my equipment. This is a big thing for me. Part of being a content creator is learning how to pack your gear and learning how to think about packing your gear long before you have to pack it, and thinking about backups, thinking about batteries, thinking about storage, I say backups, I mean of data, but also of equipment, so spare cables and spare memory cards and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm used to being a gigging musician. I'm used to travelling a little bit as a gigging musician, so to keep my travelling light. But I'm not used to travelling as a videographer and musician at the same time, particularly when there's a flight involved. So I need to figure out what is essential, and then figure out what would be the nice to haves, and also figure out with the essential component how to pack it safely, how I'm going to carry it, and how to make sure that I do have backups of gear if things go wrong, because I know things have a way of going wrong. You have to be prepared. I know that from being a musician. Spare cables and spare microphones, and sometimes even a spare guitar can be helpful for string breakages and stuff like that, so you don't have to spend time. You can just swap out guitars. So that's really going to be what's occupying my mind for the next couple of days: how to pack my stuff and what stuff to take. I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about that in my rambling into the microphone over the next few days as I figure it out. Hopefully it's not going to require buying any more gear, because that's really quite tough at the moment. I've just gone into the credit card by another almost £1,000 to sort out my storage requirements and backup solution at home, but it had to be done. So hopefully I'll be able to go sailing without having to buy anything else other than the 500 gigabyte drive I've just bought for my Ninja 5 external recorder. So yes, storage and stuff at home. That's been the last days project. The Drobo in the attic got a 2 terabyte drive replaced with a 4, and guess how much extra space that gave me? None. Yep, it's just the way that the Drobo calculates capacity and drive redundancy. So I'm using dual disk redundancy on that particular one, which means that 2 disks can fail and I'm still safe. And because I've got a mixture of 4 terabyte and 2 terabyte drives, swapping out a 2 for a 4 didn't give me any more capacity. I'm going to have to swap out another 2 for a 4. So I just did that this morning, and that's going to give me an extra probably 1, possibly 1.5. I haven't really seen it yet because it's doing the calculations and the data, shifting it around after you swap drives, which is going to take about 15 hours. Yesterday's took about 15, and then I got up this morning and saw the yellow light saying please put in another bigger drive. So it'll be another 15 hours today till that's finished doing its thing. But that did allow me to fill up the new Drobo, which did arrive yesterday, I'm happy to say. It doesn't work with Thunderbolt 3 on Windows, which is a real short sight, I think, on Drobo's part. Why would they not support the most popular computing platform with their hardware? They say, according to what I've found on the internet, that they're working on drivers for Thunderbolt 3 on Windows. So we'll see, but from some of the posts I found, that's been the case since 2016. They don't seem to be in a great hurry. And I know it can be done because my universal audio devices work fine on Thunderbolt on Windows. So at the moment I'm having to use USB 3, which, you know, is fine. It's fast enough, I think. I haven't actually tried using it as a primary drive for Lightroom or Premiere Pro, but I think it's going to be slower than the SATA bus, so it may be quite frustrating to use. This new one also has a memory card slot for an M-SATA solid state drive. I haven't put one in. I may do at some point. In fact, I almost certainly will do. Seems daft to have that capability and not to use it. It seems that helps a lot when you're dealing with small files, such as photographs, but not so much with big video files. But it's not going to hinder you, I suppose, with video files, so I might as well fill that up at some point. But yeah, I'm feeling good now that I've got my storage and my backup kind of future-proofed for a few years. The new Drobo takes up to 64 gigs, so I'll be able to work with that, and I've got drive redundancy, which is a big peace of mind, you know, because I have had lots of drives fail over time. It's a common thing, folks. If you're not backing up or have any redundancy solutions, then you're really flying by the seat of your pants. I did IT repairs, still do a little bit, but part of my business at the post office was repairing Windows computers and Mac computers. And you wouldn't believe the number of people that I've had bring in dead hard drives and haven't got their data backed up. It's quite disheartening, actually. And I know that we all say it, and I think it's partly to do with money. These backup solutions, they mean spending time and money, and people, you know, just don't seem to have the wherewithal. Anyway, back up your data, people. That's my message for you today. So I'm out with the dogs, back in the Whiteys. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot. It's not raining, which is nice for the farmers' show. There have been a few wet ones over the years, so it's great that they've got a dry day today. I've never actually been to one. Freya's been, and Lorraine, they've both been. Freya was riding in one of them. There was a photograph come up on my Facebook memories Freya in her riding gear going off to the Arran show. But yeah, I'm not that interested really in agricultural events. What would be interesting would be to document it on film, but I've got so much stuff I need to deal with on film at the moment that I'm going to not bother this time around. I've got the Crofters stuff. I've got a lot to deal with, which is great, and that's paid work, so that's my priority. But I've also now got my Arran Studios project, which is kind of a big one. So I'm expecting to learn a lot through my editing and my publishing. I don't really have a workflow for that, so that's something that will develop over time. And I've also got a whole lot of stuff from the Arran Folk Festival, which the organisers know about. Good old Robin there is very excited to see the content, and I haven't done anything with it. What tends to happen, I don't know if it's the same for other creators out there, but when I finish an event, there's enthusiasm, there's motivation, but then as time passes and I haven't worked on it, it kind of slips down the tree a little bit, or even a big bit. And so I need to be sort of coming up with a working strategy on my calendar of when to work on certain projects, rather than just have my calendar say work on a project. So that's a thing for me to look at as I move forward with my content creation business, and get some time spent editing and, you know, honing my skills and getting faster at it and coming up with workflows and all that. I'm still very much at the bottom of the curve, but it's exciting. It's so exciting. It really is. And speaking of exciting, I'll finish off with my Patreon feed. Some of you know, if you've been listening, that I'm looking for support on Patreon because, well, first of all, the credit card bills, but just to help me to make this into a business. So yesterday I got a lovely Patreon subscription from a guy called Ryan. I hope that's his name. I'm not in front of my computer just now. He subscribed at the $5 level, and this is my fifth subscriber, and it's a guy I don't know. You know, I have had some subscriptions from people I know that are just looking to support me, and that's awesome. It really is the best. But this is a guy I don't know, and so I was curious how he found me, and I wrote him a nice message thanking him and asking how he found me. And he said he found me on Spotify. So that means he's listening to the audio podcast of the interview show, Acoustic Guitar I.O. And he gave me some amazing feedback. He really enjoyed listening to interviews with Will McNichol, Mike Dawes, and I forget who the other one was. Jen, was it Jen? No, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jen Butterworth. And he wrote the loveliest message, and it's really given me a wee boost, you know, some encouragement, and just to know that my content is findable, first of all, is great. I mean, I'm publishing on anchor.fm. I'm not quite sure how they do their promo and stuff, their SEO and all that, but it must be working because I got found on Spotify, which I believe is the biggest podcast client of them all. I think it even eclipses Apple. So Spotify is something I need to be aware of for podcast listening. It's not something I do. I use Overcast. But yeah, definitely Spotify is something to watch. So my content's findable, and it's also engaging, which is huge because you never really know until you start to get feedback, whether you're just shouting into the void, or even if people are listening, whether they're staying, because the podcast realm is pretty big. In fact, it's huge. I spend a lot of my day listening to podcasts, and have been since about 2006, I think. I started listening to Security Now on the Twit network. It was probably my first show, and then I followed Leo Laporte's content. Leo's the granddaddy of the Twit network, This Week in Tech, and that started out with his podcast called This Week in Tech, which came as a spin-off from the Screensavers, which was a tech TV show in North America. So I've been listening to podcasts since way back, and I find it to be an incredibly valuable medium. The fact that you can listen to educational and entertaining content in your headphones while you're going about your life, driving, housework, whatever it might be. I find it to be an incredibly valuable medium. It's kind of the new radio, but it's saturated with content. It's very difficult to break into, particularly for an independent. And so that's a rambly way of saying thank you, Ryan, for subscribing to my Patreon feed. It really does mean the world. And if you would like to do that and help me out, I would love it, folks. I really would. It would validate what I'm doing and give me encouragement to keep going. So if you visit patreon.com/acousticguitar.io, you'll find my Patreon feed there. And yeah, so I'm going to sign off now, get home, get into some breakfast and some content, and have a great day. Thanks for listening, folks. I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.